Hi YouTube, Tim Unkert here. In this video, I'm going to evaluate algebraic expressions that have exponents in them. So we have 4 problems here. Let's go through each of these 4 and just work out the problems together. Okay, so the first one here we have the algebraic expression x cubed plus y to the fourth. So x cubed plus y to the fourth. Okay, in this case, x is going to equal 8. Y is going to equal -5. So what we're going to do is where x and y are, we'll plug in those numbers. So we have 8 cubed plus -5 to the fourth power. Okay. And if you're raising a number like -5 to an even power like the fourth power, let me fix that up a little bit. It doesn't look that good. Make that 4 a little bit better. So if you're raising a negative number to an even power, the result will always be positive. If you're raising a negative number to an odd power, the result will be negative. Now, you want to be careful when you plug this into your calculator, because if you do something like -5 to the fourth power, this is really equal to -1 times 5 to the fourth power. So if you do enter it into your calculator, what you got to do is do this. Okay, put it in parentheses. Otherwise, you get this situation, which does yield a negative number. Okay. All right. So, alrighty. So let's do this. So 8 cubed. Well, when we have an exponent like 3 here, we take the base or we take the power here, 3, and we take the base and we multiply it. We take this many, so let's take 3 8s and multiply them together. Here we're going to take 4 -5s and multiply together. All right, so we do 8 times 8 times 8 plus, here we're going to have -5 times -5 times -5 times -5. And the reason why, if you raise a negative number to an even power, it's always positive. If you think about it, you always have these pairs. A negative times a negative is always a positive. So you have this pair, it becomes positive. You have this pair, also becomes positive. Positive times a positive is a positive. If I raise this to like the third power or the fifth power, well, I'd have that extra negative number there. And then when I multiplied all the positive numbers, at the end, you'd have to multiply a positive times a negative, and that would give you a negative. Okay, so now let's do this out. So we're going to do 8 times 8. Well, that's 64. So this becomes 64 times 8. And I'm going to move this along a little bit. In the previous video, I kind of did the multiplication every step by step, but we don't really need to do that. So if we're thinking of multiplying by pairs, we do -5 times -5. That's a positive 25. And then -5 times -5 is another positive 25. Okay, so let's do this out. 64 times 8. So 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 6 is 48, plus 3 is 512. So we get 512 here, plus 25 times 25 is going to be 625. And then if we add these two numbers together, so now I'm going to add these, and I'll show you an easier way to do this after this. So we got 2 plus 5 is 7, 1 plus 2 is 3, and 5 plus 6 is 11. So we get 1,000. So 1,137. Now, if you encounter a problem like this on the SAT this year, especially at this time of the recording, they may change this, of course. You can use the Desmos calculator because the SAT is digital. So let's bring that up. So I'm going to bring up Desmos here. I'll just search for the Desmos Graphing calculator. I'm going to clear this stuff out. So if you don't have it down, take a mental snapshot now. Now. Okay, anyways. All right, so now I'm going to clear it out. All right, so bring up this calculator. Again, so I have 8 cubed plus y to the negative fourth. Okay, or negative 5 to the fourth power. So I'm going to do 8, and I do shift and 6 to get the exponent cubed. Do the right arrow to bring it down, plus, and then again, I want to do it in parentheses. I'll show you the difference in a minute. Negative 5, shift 6 to get the exponent to the fourth power, and we get 1,137 here. Now, if I were to do something like this and take these away, notice the result changes quite a bit because now it's negative 1 times 5 to the fourth power. So you get a negative number here plus a positive number here. This number is a little bit larger. It yields a negative number. But if I put back the parentheses here, I get the result 1,137. Okay, so if you're using the SAT, you can use this calculator. And let's just zoom in. So here you go. You can use this calculator. All right, so let's go to the next problem. And now we've got this expression, x to the fourth minus y cubed. Okay, so x to the fourth, well, x is negative 5, y is negative 9. Okay, so we have negative 5 to the fourth power plus negative 9 cubed. Okay, so from the previous problem, we knew that negative 5 to the fourth power is a positive 625. Now notice we have an odd exponent here. We have a negative number. So our result of negative 9 times negative 9 times negative 9 is going to be a negative number. So again, we're multiplying negative 9. We have 3 negative 9s we're multiplying together. Okay. So, negative 9 times negative 9 is positive 81. A negative times a negative is a positive. But then we multiply by the negative again. That's why when you raise it to an odd power, you always have this negative left over with a positive number. So 81 times negative 9, that's going to be negative 729. Okay, plus 625. Now, as I've mentioned in a couple previous videos, when you're adding two numbers that are of the different sign, you're going to take the larger number, and by larger number, I mean the number that has a greater distance from 0 on the number line. So if you think of a number line, negative 729 is going to be farther away from 0 on the number line than positive 625. You're going to take the larger number in absolute value, distance from 0 on the number line. You're going to subtract the smaller number, and you're going to take the sign of the larger number. So when we add these two together, we're going to get a negative number that's actually going to be less than either of these numbers. So we're going to take 729. Whew, my writing is not so good today. Minus 625. And so 9 minus 5 is 4. 2 minus 2 is 0. 7 minus 6 is 1. And again, this is going to be a negative number because our number with a greater absolute value was negative. So negative 104 is the solution to this expression. And again, if you want to do this with Desmos, well, first take a snapshot of this because I got to delete this stuff. Okay, so let's get rid of that. Let's go to Desmos here. Trick with Desmos I'm going to show you. You can go up here. If I have a ton of these cells, I can just go delete all. Okay, so we have negative 5 to the fourth power. Remember, we have to put the negative 5 in parentheses. Do a shift 6 outside the parentheses to the fourth power. Plus, then we have to do in parentheses. Well, I mean, it still would be negative, but good practice. Oh, and we're subtracting, so I messed this one up. And I'll explain that. Let's go back to that in a minute. I just automatically added them. I wonder if you caught that. If you did, leave a comment in the comments below. But anyway, so this is why you always check your work. So we're going to do negative 9 cubed. Notice we get a larger positive number, right? Because we're subtracting a negative number. I added. So let's just go back to why that works. Okay, so x to the fourth power, that's 625. And remember, I added, but we're going to be subtracting. And then negative 9 cubed is negative 729. So when you're subtracting a negative number, you're actually adding a positive. So I can make this, adding a positive here. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. So 729 plus 625. 9 plus 5 is 4. 14, really. Bring up the 1. 1 plus 2 is 5. And 7 plus 6 is 13. So it's 1,354, which is what we got here, 1,354. Okay, so it's always important to check your work. I did that on purpose. Sure. Okay, let's get rid of this stuff. Boom, gone. Okay, next one. Again, another subtraction. We have x cubed minus y to the fourth. And x is 6. Y is negative 9. Okay, so we're going to do, let's do 6 cubed minus, remember it's a subtraction, minus negative 9 to the fourth power. Now we have a negative number raised to an even power or even exponent here. So we're going to get a positive number. So this is going to be a positive subtracting another positive. This number should be larger, so we're actually going to end up with a negative result in the end. But 6 cubed is going to be 6 times 6 times 6. So 6 times 6 times 6 minus, and then we're going to do negative 9 times negative 9 times negative 9 times negative 9. Okay, so 6 times 6 times 6 is going to be 216. And then we're going to subtract. Okay, so let's put these together. It's going to be 81 times 81. Okay, so 81 times 81. Well, 1 times 81 is 81. And then we do 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 8 is 64. So we have 1 plus nothing here. 8 plus 8 is 16. So the 6, bring up the 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. So 6,561. Another way I can think of this is like I could change this problem into plus a negative number. So now we're adding two numbers with different signs. So we're going to do 6,561, and we're going to subtract to 16. And after we finish the problem, I want to make a point about test taking with Desmos, especially for the SAT, in case you're watching. Hopefully this will be helpful. So we're going to borrow from the 6 here. We have 5. Bring the 1 over, so we have 11 minus 6. That's going to be 5. 5 minus 1 is 5. 5 minus 2 is 3. And then 6 minus nothing is 6. So we get this 6,355. Remember that this number has a further distance from 0, so we're going to have to make it a negative. So it's going to be negative 6,355. So boom. Okay, so take a snapshot of that. I'm going to delete it, and then I'm going to show you the way you should be doing it if you're taking the digital SAT this year with Desmos included. Okay, so let's get rid of that. Okay, so on the digital SAT, you should be using Desmos as much as possible. You want to be, it's a time-sensitive test, so you want to be going through these as quickly as possible. I'm showing you the longer way, doing the arithmetic in your head, and that's good practice mentally. But when you get ready for a test like the digital SAT and you want to score as high as possible, I highly recommend using the Desmos calculator. Okay, so we're going to go here and just close that out. And so we're going to have 6 cubed minus negative 9 to the 4th power. So I'm going to do 6 cubed minus negative 9 to the 4th power. And we get negative 6,345. Now you notice I arrived at the same result as I did with the arithmetic, which is good. It means I didn't mess up. But this method is going to be a lot faster for a lot of problems on the digital SAT, and you can use Desmos on any of those problems. So if you are taking it, just take that to note and use the Desmos calculator. Okay, one more problem to go. All right, so let's look at this last problem here. So we're evaluating the following expression. We've got x cubed minus y cubed. X cubed minus y cubed. We've got x equals 9, y equals 1. So we're going to have 9 cubed minus 1 cubed. So 9 cubed minus 1 cubed. Another way to write this is 9 times 9 times 9 minus 1 times 1 times 1. 9 times 9 is 81. 81 times 9 is 729. So we have 729 minus 1, which is 728. Let's do this via Desmos. So I'm going to take a snapshot, boom, and I'm going to delete that stuff, go to Desmos. So here we have 9 cubed minus 1 cubed, and we see we get the same solution, 728. Obviously, if you're taking the test, use Desmos. If you're practicing arithmetic, do it the written out way. I do have a worksheet linked in the description on this. That's available on Teacher Pay Teachers for 99 cents if you do want to support the channel. You can also support the channel for free by just liking and subscribing. Hopefully, I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.